spacecraft flew down to Holetary, slowly, landed on the vegetable field. After the engines stopped, the door slid open. Par-sey and Lor-va walked out. They're relieved that they're back. said, "Time to catch up with Freud." In the lab, Dr. Centrix have examined the reconstruction of a blaster. Suddenly, there was a bang on the door. Centrix and the workers looked. The door broke down, and there are a group of stormtroopers. So the workers tried shooting them, but stormtroopers beat them to it. They held Centrix at gunpoint. Freud opened the door, seeing and his parents standing outside. Everyone is pleased to see each other. said, "We've come to warn you, but we brought the people you know." Lego Batman, Wyldstyle and Gandalf minifigures came in. Froid and Skellingman were surprised to see them again. They wondered what was going on. said, "There's an army of stormtroopers coming here. We've been trying to find them. We don't know what they want on this planet." Batman commented, "The stormtroopers attacked on Vorton again. helped us. A lot of them got away in their gunship, so we decided to help. When we learned that they're landing in Holetary, we came here to warn you." Zarbus asked, "What are the stormtroopers?" Wyldstyle explained, "They're space shock troops of the Galactic Empire." Gandalf commented, "They're brutal killers." Skellingman said, "They're from Star Wars Expanded Universe, a movie world I told you about in 1984. We have met stormtroopers before, and we know what they're capable of." Zetron said, "Emergency, Freud. I have found traces of the gunship that just landed." Freud looked at the scanner and said, "Oh no, that's Dr. Centrix's lab. This is bad. We have to get there quick." So Freud, Skellingman, Zarbus, Batman, Wyldstyle and Gandalf burst out of the house. They got on the speeder. Freud drove down the road, eventually reached to Centrix's lab. The gang got off the speeder. They burst into Centrix's lab, and stormtroopers have their weapons ready. Freud said, "That's enough. Where's Dr. Centrix?" One of the stormtrooper approached and said, "Nice to see you again, Freud." The gang realized he's TL-294. Skellingman asked, "How did you get here? Your ship was supposed to keep out of the planet." TL-294 answered, "There's more of my army arrived in this universe. I got on board on their ship, leaving my old one flying away in space." Freud asked, "Where's Dr. Centrix and her crew?" TL-294 explained, "Centrix is kept out of the way. We'll be taking her with us when we're done here." Batman asked, "What are your plans on this planet?" TL-294 said, "We're gonna destroy this planet. I will have revenge for banishing me. Fire at my command." Freud shouted, "Everyone, run!" So they did. Stormtroopers missed as they shoot. The gang got on a speeder. It drove through the road while dodging the red lasers, firing from stormtroopers' guns. There's people running and screaming. The gang arrive back at the house. Par-sey asks, "What's happening?" Freud said, "Grab every weapons you can find. This is a bigger fight." Skellingman asked, "Have you got a weapon, Wyldstyle?" So she revealed a blaster. Everyone are carrying silver blasters with green at the end. TL-294 and stormtroopers are shooting all over the street. TL-294 used a bazooka that Centrix made that destroyed a lot of buildings. There's big explosions. Freud, Skellingman, Zarbus, Batman, Wyldstyle, Gandalf, Par-sey and Lor-va marched out of the house using their weapons. Everyone fired their blasters at the stormtroopers. Gandalf shoots pink lasers from his staff. The street is full of people running as they're panicking. Explosions, pieces of buildings lying around, red, green and purple lasers flying all over the place. Skellingman helps the children to get out of the war zone. Freud and Batman crouch down below, lot of lasers firing different directions. They ran through a messy street and found the gunship. Froid and Batman shot both stormtroopers guarding it, so they got inside and found Dr. Centrix sitting on a chair with handcuffs. She was relieved to see Froid and Batman, so Froid took a key out of a container and, unlocking the cuffs, setting Centrix free. So she grabbed the blaster and asked, "What do we do?" Froid explained, "No signs of gateway, so there's nothing we can do to put those stormtroopers back, so we have to destroy them all." Centrix replied, "I love that idea." The rest of the gang managed to kill a lot of stormtroopers. Par-sey said, "This is worse than fighting alien greys." Froid, Centrix and Batman showed up. Batman said, "What could be worse? We took on Cybermen, Daleks, Palpatine, Lord Vortek and Joker." Dr. Centrix said, "The stormtroopers destroyed my lab, all my experiments and crew. What do we do?" Froid was thinking, "This is a bigger battle than I thought." Skellingman asked, "What do we do?" Froid suggested, "We'll use the freighter." So everyone agreed. So they outrun the stormtroopers. TL-294 fired a bazooka and more buildings are destroyed, burst into flames. Froid and the gang have returned to the house and thought Zetron is no longer safe. So D-Say and Skellingman lifted Zetron from the wall. They took the robot outside the house and inside the freighter at the back. Suddenly, the glass on the windows of the house shattered. Stormtroopers in the garden are shooting at the house. Everyone took cover. They quickly got out the house. Froid, Skellingman and D-Say stood outside the freighter and said their goodbyes to Batman, Wyldstyle and Gandalf. There's more stormtroopers incoming. Froid, Skellingman and D-Say got on board the freighter. The door closed and lifted off, while Zarbus, Par-sey, Lor-va, Batman, Wyldstyle and Gandalf ran to Par-sey's spacecraft. The door opened, they got inside, then closed the door. The ship lifted off. Par-sey asked Batman, "Do you want to lift back to Vorton?" Batman said yes. Froid's freighter fired the guns and destroyed a lot of stormtroopers. TL-294 is outside of Froid's house. He fired the missile from bazooka and the house has exploded and turned into many tiny pieces. Froid was devastated to see his house destroyed, so he fired the lasers at TL-294, which killed him. Froid said, "I don't think I can face staying that planet any longer." Skellingman and D-Say felt the same way. Froid has an idea. After all the stormtroopers are down, Froid's freighter has flown into space and eventually down to Earth. Froid said, "Earth is a good place to live in, as long as we don't scare any humans." The freighter landed in Holy Island on England. Zetron said, "Location, Holy Island, an island of England, Earth." Froid said, "I know Zetron. Sam told me he once visited there when he was 9 years old." Froid, Skellingman, D-Say stepped outside of the freighter, breathing fresh air, believing that they can start again in that area. Later on, Froid, Skellingman and D-Say sat inside a village house on Holy Island as they took residence, waiting for others to come. So then the spacecraft landed outside, so the trio walked out. Par-sey, Lor-va and Zarbus got off the spacecraft. They thought, this is a nice place to rebuild their lives, as they no longer have a home on Holetary. Froid said, "We may rebuild our lives here, but the outsiders hasn't finished with us yet. There will always be visitors. Earth in our universe is a great place to be in, but remember who lives here."